everybody. Welcome to the Friday edition of the Hope Collections Optimize Your Life and the Golden Rule Society's Friday edition of honoring Captain Len Kaine and our other veteran heroes, who we just every Friday we make this show of the Hope Collection and Golden Rule Society. I'm really dedicated in honoring those who have been so wonderful and have paid the ultimate price, or have been part of paying the ultimate price. And actually, we are honoring Len Kaine today, but he's usually here. But he today is not with us because he's being honored himself. And we're really excited because the opportunity came up for Len to be part of the program that's Honor Flights. And what they do is they set up trips and flights and connections and hospitality for our heroes to go to the sites like the Vietnam War Memorial, the World War II Memorial, Korean War Memorial, War I Memorial. And so people are flown there like Len, and they're recognized and they're wined and dined in a great way and honored. And we're just proud that he was chosen to go today. And I know he's going to take lots of pictures and things. So we're looking forward to hearing back from him. So what we thought we'd do the rest of the show today is we'd take some time and discuss what really every aspect of the idea of honor flights and what we're doing to continually and continuously, deliberately looking to recognize those folks who have got involved, volunteered. Many times earlier they didn't volunteer, but they went and they served our country to keep us free. And, the other person that's on the line today, I'd like to introduce you to her because she is another hometown hero and heroine. And she is incredible, not only as she is today in her life and leading her family and children and leading the cutting edge of helping people with different situations in her life to overcome. And she has come on to the board of the Hope Collection, literally taken over the operations of our organization from all the coordinating of communications and documentation. And she's a valuable asset on that way. But also, let me tell you about Mary the person. Mary was in the service, the Army, Fort Drum. And on September 11th, I was sitting on a bridge that's gone on Route 3 on my way to go to Tower 2 to have lunch with a friend. Yeah, 9/11, that was the day. And what I saw that day was I saw a plane, 767, fly right into the second building. The plane had already gone in, 737, already flown in the other building. But the worst part about this situation happening was it shook the earth. It shook it so bad, and it shook our world because, about 3,000 people immediately were killed. Never happened in the United States ever before. We were attacked. And you know what? The Army, Navy, Marines, Air Force, all of them jumped immediately into action. And Mary was at Fort Drum, and what they did is they got on trucks and they drove down and they went right down Passaic Plank Road down to the Lincoln Tunnel, and she was right down at the site, the Ground Zero they called it. And she was there in the rescue and recovery operations. She experienced a horrification. I saw it from a distance. She was involved in doing it. And so, Mary, we want to thank you because you could have walked away from that. There might have been people who did, but you didn't. You walked into your Towers to Tunnel hero. And we're so grateful today that you arranged to have the show available, that we can continue to do our respect and honor going forward. And so, by the way, I'm going to break out this. I'm not political, but I'm telling you, I'm asking every person that hears my voice, if you are a United States citizen, I'm asking you, no matter what your excuse was in the past, not to vote. I'm asking you to be involved in our election this year and vote. It's critical. And so I'll leave it at that. Mary, I want to welcome you, and I want to carry on forever here. I'd like to welcome you to the show. lead the show and share with us some of the exciting things that you know that are going on for Len Kaine today and beyond.
So Len Kaine is part of or being honored in the Freedom Flight. And what the Freedom Flight is it was designed for veterans who fought at different battles, different places, and getting a chance to the events that they're being honored at, but also being brought to places like the Battle of the Bulge in Normandy, some concentration camps over in Germany, different experiences that with health conditions, a lot of these veterans would not be able to attend. So these flights are free for all veterans, but they are also fully equipped with medical personnel with them the whole entire time to be able to accommodate any need of or assistance that may come up. It's a phenomenal program.
I know when we've had people from we live in Buffalo, New York, Mary, and I know every time there's a group, and sometimes there is a group, other times it's just one person, but a group are going down to Washington for these flights in this honor. At the airport, there's always a reception, an honorary guard, a group of former or actual active duty service people that will be there with a salute of the flag, presentation of the colors. Will be there to represent the military and our country as both departing and then receiving them when they come home. As a total honor, recognition of them going. And when that happens, every single major, we have WKBW, we have Channel 7, ABC News, we have CBS News, and we have NBC News, and all three channels, every time there's a hero's flight going out, they have representation at the airport, and they feature it on the nightly news, morning, night, afternoon, and nightly news. And if it's on the weekend, which it generally is, they get coverage all weekend long. And recognition of the individual, and they talk to and about the person. So it's an extension of what this whole program does.
So, with Len Kaine, it still blows my mind. I get to know him and meet him and call him on the phone and talk to him. One, because when you're in the military and you're an enlisted a soldier, you're a lonely little, peon. And so you don't really ever talk to officers. Most of the time you try to avoid them. And when you are stuck dealing with them, a lot of times you're scared to make sure you follow protocols correctly so you don't get in trouble. And so that's one reason. But also, every time I talk to this man and listen to all the accomplishments he's made, from a Golden Rule Society while he was still in the military during Vietnam, to doing things he does now, to being a warfighter pilot, he is so humble about it. It's like just a matter of fact. He talks about it as not that he's bragging, it's just a statistic and a fact. It's like listening to my kids babble about states. He's so humble about it. It's like we never find out about the awards and the accolades and the things he's got going on until after the fact.
Yeah, he is not braggadocious, and he's never trying to impress. He doesn't impress anyone. He is impressive. When you have, and it's funny, they wanted, when he was his tour of duty multiple times, it's coming to an end. The Navy realized and recognized what a great, Top Gun, he literally developed a pattern, a process for dogfighting that after the Navy and the Air Force also adopted this way of training and helping our pilots, they had the Air Force cut their losses in half, and the Navy in his squadron, they never lost a plane. They never lost a pilot. And so it's kind of exciting to know that not only did Len contribute, you think about it. Here's a guy born in Scranton, Pennsylvania, son of a coal miner. His father was injured and really couldn't work much. So at a young age, here's Len Kaine literally delivering newspapers. I think he said something like he got 30 cents a paper, but that paid the rent. He delivered papers every day. And then when he got through school, and he did pretty good in school, he was smart, and graduated, and ended up going, and he decided he wanted to go to the Navy. And his game plan, the funny part about it, his game plan was to get an education. At that time, the best way to get an education, get it paid for, was go in the service. He thought the GI Bill, and then he'd get a job at IBM, and that was his goal. But what happened when he got picked out and he went to the Navy, and they found out both, not just his IQ, he certainly had that, but his thinking and his ability and his quick thinking and his sharpness, and he was a good student. So they moved him into school and sent him to flight school. Became their pilot. Well, it's just kind of the trail that goes beyond. Then he followed behind him is just an incredible story that we all get excited about. And I think the stories that he's talking about, when his mom said to him before you go to school, you went off to school, Len, remember, always be kind. Now, you think that Len became the top fighter pilot in a war. Now, he learned and taught and was a squadron leader. And what he did is he tried to help people to survive. It was a horrible, terrible thing, combat. It's death. It's pain. It's suffering. And that's what war is all about. But he was about to try and end that. And in the process of doing that, he developed things that would help improve our ability. He represented America, where he obviously was born. You think about it. Here's a guy that had the ability to fly a jet plane. We're talking about planes that fly at the speed of sound. I mean, I have a hard time just getting a handle on that. Flying a plane. Like I was in a little Piper 6. A friend of mine, very good friend of mine, owned a Piper 6, and he let me at the wheel one time, and it was for me it was a scary proposition. But he held the other wheel, so there were two wheels on the plane. So he was co-piloting, and he wasn't sure I didn't take the plane and flip it or put in a deep dive or die. And but just think, he did it at the speed of sound. And not only that, he did it in a squadron in formation. And they had tests. There's a school called Miramar in San Diego. And if you go to Miramar school, they train the best pilots, the best of the best of the best. And guess what they call those guys? That's right, they call them Top Gun. And so Len became the East Coast, the West Coast, and then the whole coast, all everywhere, the whole country, Top Gun. And as a result of that, he not only was able to lead people, but in a squadron. Now you imagine going the speed of sound in formation, flying up. Have you ever gone to an air show? You see them go single planes. They go up and they come down and they swirl and barrel. But he was doing it in formation. The skill that takes to control, we're talking inches apart from another wing of another plane at the speed of sound. I have a hard time grasping that. And to think that he has those capabilities as a pilot and trained other people to successfully do that. What a wonderful, wonderful man that has committed his life. He laid down his life. Now, fortunately, we still have him with us, so today he's being honored down in Washington. We have just had a whole bunch of people that joined the show. I want to welcome you to the Optimize Your Life radio show, Golden Rule Society. Today, we normally are having and talking to that Len Kaine I just talked about, but today he's in Washington, D.C., being honored at the Freedom Flight that they send our heroes off to, and they get to visit and the memorials, and they get honored too. There's special programs, and so we're really excited that Len is receiving this. They qualified because of who he is, what he did, and so normally he's back and put him on the phone. But go ahead, Mary.
You brought up a point that I want to touch on a little bit. And some of these that just came on didn't hear this. You brought up a point about Len being very smart, and it brings a point up about a lot of misconceptions about service members. A lot of people think that we join the military because we're not smart enough to get into college. We're not smart enough to do this. We're not smart enough to do that. In reality, people don't understand and realize that you actually have to take an IQ test. It's called the ASVAB test. And it is a test based on many different factors. And that's how, one, the military decides what jobs you fit into and you qualify for. But it's also, you have to pass it to get into the military. Many, many, many people take the test. Many fail. Most of us join the military because, one, we like that lifestyle and we gravitate towards that. But also, a lot of us, we can't afford college without this. It's nothing to do with how smart we are. A lot of us are very, very smart. I've met so many smart people in the military.
Definitely.
Sorry, that was my rant. It's just a big misconception that I hear a lot.
Yes. I see other people have joined us. Anyone else want to contribute? I know that we've met and Captain Len and his wife Anne for several years. Actually, we knew them for several years even before we met them in person, and that was such a treat to meet them in person. Originally on a cruise, and then we were welcomed to their home in San Diego, in Coronado, an island off San Diego. Just wonderful couple that work so hard for all of us, for the betterment of everybody. Captain Kaine, when he was in the service, he actually developed it's called CAP. I can't remember exactly what it stands for, what the letters stand for, but he was able to, the way that he flew and that he trained his squadron to fly, the Air Force and other Navy branches all learned from him. And Ron might have said this story before I came in, but his squadron did not lose a plane in their sorties as fighter pilots because of the system that he developed and that he shared with others, with other branches. As I said, with the Air Force also, they all learned how to do the maneuvers that he had developed. Just so wonderful. But he had so many wonderful stories, and I'm so glad that he's being honored this week. So, but really, there's other people. If you either met Captain Kaine in person or just by this wonderful show that we have on Friday, would you like to add any of your recollections?
When this is Country Boy, I'd like to ask Ron to do a favor. I do have a couple of friends on that haven't been on the show that many times, but they asked me, well, what do we do? Ron, are you still there? Can you give us those 8 tips?
Ron just stepped away for a moment. He'll be right back.
Okay.
That's why I kind of, we're playing tag team host today, as it were.
Awesome. Okay. I have Ron to talk about those 8 different categories that we help people out when it comes down to hope. I know I've been around for a number of years. Joel and I have done this show for well over 10 years, and we try to help people out in just about every area of their life that they're going to need help in. It's not just a cliche when we say it takes one. In the country, they used to say it takes more than one to raise a village. But again, we know that we need each other. If everybody could bless themselves, then we wouldn't need each other. And one of Joel's goals was, before he passed, is he was looking and searching the world. He's taking the best of the best. Lynn is way out in California. Ron and you and Linda way up in New York. Here I am way down here in Georgia. But we've been able to align ourselves with the best of the best in the world. Rick Reese, he just moved from Colorado down to South Carolina. He's the best in the world in the travel industry. My big friend Frances, she's way down near Orlando, Florida. She's the best in the world when it comes to health and nutrition. And, Linda, you have Beth that comes in on Wednesdays and talks to us about health and nutrition. Because if you interview people, people's health is their first wealth. So we've been able to collaborate and take the best of the best from the north, the south, the east, and the west, and allow every single person to come in and love their very best. And we tell you anything less than that's absolutely unacceptable. But we also know that we're now in what we call the information stage, and knowledge is power. And Ron will be the first to tell you, everything that we do over here at the Hope Foundation is intentional. We have no hidden agendas. We have no hidden motives on what we do. We have every intention on blessing you and your family. Why? Because we care. Why? Because we care. We care enough to share enough information with you so that you'll know what you need to know in order to be able to grow. So you don't have to worry about being able to do everything. I remember when I was younger, my granddaddy said, "Country boy, if you're the smartest person on your team, then you need to find yourself some more teammates." Why? Because he said eventually in life, they won't complete you. They'll only compete with you like it's a competition. But see, our philosophy is a little bit different over here because I don't have to know how to do everything. Shakespeare wrote it and gave it to Hamlet, to be or not to be. Well, I'm to be. How about you? Are you to be a blessing to somebody? Because if everybody could bless themselves, they could just wave a wand over themselves, and if they're not too selfish, they could sprinkle their family while they're at it. But my granddaddy says in order for anybody, and that's for our new listeners, old listeners, for anybody to be blessed, they must, now maybe, be at the right place, at the right time, with the right people. And so we got people from doing different kinds. I call us one nation under love. Yeah, because I understood that love is not love until one gives it away. So if you want to be blessed today, then you showed up at the right place at the right time because God's people, I know one thing about everybody that comes on the call without even knowing them. You know what I know? We're about our Father's business. So we're here to help you in the areas of your life that you need help in. Linda, I won't preach your sermon. I'll push the pause button right there. Is Ron back yet?
Well, you know, the slogan of the Hope Collection is helping others by helping them help others. And it's a continuum. And what the Hope Collection does a lot of times is just connect people. We have a program with Cambridge Financial. I just connected a girlfriend who called me and said, I might have to go bankrupt. She had a knee replaced. She was out of work, and she's self-employed, and she didn't know what to do. I said, before you do anything, at least talk to these counselors. Counseling, Mary is such a fabulous counselor, and she can connect people. She has so much knowledge. Well, with financial things, we have a contract with Cambridge Financial. Before you do anything, talk to them, get some counseling. so often we try to do things on our own, and there is no such thing as a self-made man or a self-made person, because we need each other, and we need, just like you said, Country Boy, about if you're the only, if a tennis player will only be as good as their opponent if they only play duffers. That might be a golf term, but they're never going to stretch and get more involved in things. And that's what we really have to do. And this is just a good vehicle. We can't answer everyone's problems immediately, but we can hopefully point people in the right direction. And, what Joel had set up with, go ahead, Mary.
I was going to say, you are so true, because your phone is never quiet now that you met me.
I love it.
I'm always reaching out to different people, including you guys, for, ideas, support, and connections. And we're all together trying to figure out how to make things better.
And I am so thrilled about that. When you were having a hairy day, that you thought to call us. I had a girlfriend call 10 o'clock last night, and she said, just keep me in prayer. Her husband's in a nursing home. The financial, impact of the nursing home is just really hitting her hard. She does have good lawyers that are helping her through the process, but I'll tell you, I just got back from visiting my mom in a nursing home. And she's doing good. She turns 97 next month. But it's hard for people in a nursing home to give up their freedom. You have to really balance the care that you need, medically and everything, with, wanting just to be on your own like you always were. But there's times and places that for everything, and if we could just help somebody ease that burden, we may not know everything, but we may know somebody who knows everything, or at least knows the thing that you need at the time, and that's what we're here to do. The Hope Collection really is a collection of people. That, we do our best to, not everybody knows everything, but somebody will know something that can help somebody along the way. I like what Joel had put together, really just, and Country Boy, as soon as Ryan comes back, he can tell the 9 pillars, and I can remember, I probably could, work it out, faith and family and energy, water, housing, but I know that he has it down pat, but he'll be back. In fact, here he is. If you could tell the 9 pillars, I know faith, family, housing, but
okay.
You're just so good at that.
I'm back in the pilot seat. Is that what you're telling me?
You're back in the pilot seat.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. I'm sorry I had to take a little break there, but we're back. I guess somebody had asked if I would share about the 8 pillars of the Hope Collection. They're basically the foundation of what we operate under and provide services for, and we primarily focus on helping veterans and their families and first responders and their families. We help everybody, and we're an inclusive organization. The categories of the foundation are pillars as faith, family, housing, education, the arts, health and wellness, water, and energy. And under each one of those categories, we have someone or a group of people or a company that represents abilities to connect to provide services. We are an umbrella of servants. We're looking to help make a difference, make this, as Len would say, Len Kaine would say, make this a better world. And the founder of the Hope Collection, Dr. Joel Griffin, who was an advisor, not only an advisor, understanding a PhD in math, but he was an analyst. And so 3 different presidents of the United States had him review the different programs that Congress sent up to the president to sign off on, or as he would say, he'd give him a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And then later on, Margaret Thatcher brought him over, Joel, over to Parliament, and he spoke in front of Parliament and shared the kind of philosophies and understandings of both free enterprise, capitalism, and integrity. And, you know, when you operate in the world of integrity, what happens is people rise to the top, and Len Kaine comes around. And many of the people that know him, support him, have been part of his world of making this a better world. Really, it's all about that. And we are thrilled and we're humbled that we're able to do things for folks. There's a couple of people, I'm not sure I recognize all the phone numbers on the call today. There's some folks that would like to say hi that perhaps, like I said, I don't recognize all the numbers here today. Would you like to say hello?
Say, Ron, while you're holding the mic, go ahead and tell us a little bit about Antigua, because, you know, that's one of the things I mentioned when Linda was talking just a few minutes ago, that health is always what we consider on the top of the list as our first wealth, and everybody has some type of health issues or something that they're dealing with. Can you tell us a little bit about Antigua, Ron?
Oh, I sure can. In fact, I'm really excited about hearing. Len Kaine is responsible for our acknowledgement and our ability to provide services through the world-class, world-renowned, and heralded organization called Antigua Health. A gentleman, Alexander Candelaria, was a Marine. He was at Walter Reed Hospital. He lost a leg in combat himself on the ground when Len was flying up in the plane. But he came home a brilliant man. He got educated in Houston, where he hails from, and he started this company called Antigua Health. Antigua Health, the mission of the company is to be committed to helping and make this world better in the medical field. And they have developed, they have several, developments, they have several companies underneath the umbrella of Antigua Health. The first thing they've developed, they started being a certifier of folks. When people go to college and they get their degrees in the medical field, whatever specialty, whether it's nursing or whatever field it is they specialize in, not only they have to get that education, they got to get certified. And different states have different certifications, or countries for that matter. So what they became proficient. In fact, they lead the world in helping people get their certifications. You know, when they get they get their certificate, they got to hang out a plank to say they got a business. They got to be certified. And so Antigua Health is known because they actually help people. Sometimes it takes a month, sometimes it takes 6 months, sometimes it takes a year to get certified. They streamlined that and built that program, and it really helps a lot of people who are medically educated, but they got to get certified. So that was how they started. Another division of the company is in actual health, and in the area of development, cutting-edge development technology, they became cutting-edge in the area of genetics. And they have a program, and I'll share this with you, everybody on the line. They have a testing program. They take a swab. Remember when we had COVID, we would get the swabs and the test to see if we were sick. Well, there's a test that they could take that, and they run multiple tests, and they genetically find out what you are able to take in terms of prescriptions or drugs or anything for that matter. They can tell from this swab test what you shouldn't have. Well, that's important because if you go in the hospital, there's so many new medicines and things, and a lot of people. I know my sister alone, she went in the hospital, she got sicker, she was sick and had problems, and then she went in, and when she took the medicine they gave her, she got sicker, almost died. Well, having this test done, you get back a binder with information that you can give to your primary doctor, who then gives it to your specialist when later on, and you're armed with information to protect yourself. So the Antigua Health Development, by the way, that test is available. Many insurance companies today are paying for it. If they don't, it's $200. but is your wife worth something like that you'd make this? So you can make that available. That's at IntivaHealth.com. They're on the web world, and we highly recommend them. Len Kaine deliberately brought this company to the Hope Collection and to share with all our members and friends. They also have another program where they have they're just incredible. They have developed. Have you ever heard of gummy bears? Well, if you get any vitamins or food supplements or prescriptions today, you can ask for your medicines to come in the form of gummy bears or it's a gummy bear material. Intiva Health is on the cutting edge. They're the number one producer in the world of these products that like CVS and Whole Foods, all their medicine, all their pharmaceuticals and vitamin products are all made with the product based in the pharmaceutical grade organic gummy bear material that Intiva Health makes. A year ago, they built a plant. And right after that, they opened a second plant. We're talking 1 million square foot facilities. They now are going to dedicate next month. Len and Ann Kaine are going down to the opening. They're opening a new plant that is twice the size of the two they already have open. They're working 24/7 to deliver to the world the materials. See, you talk about built in America, grown in America, a wonderful company that's cutting edge. And we're just so excited to have them available to us. And so there's more to come in those areas, but I just thought I'd share those things that you have to ask for, Country Boy. It's just incredible that we have one of the services, like I said, the pharmaceutical RX, when you have prescriptions, there's a program that Len brought to us that you can go to the companies that do it. They don't advertise it, but if you find out that you can get through Golden Rule Society this company that does discounted pharmaceuticals, and they go in and you're able to be able to get prices for less. I had my problem. I got a new discovery when I had a stroke that I was diabetic. And so the normal material medicine that in general, there's always one general prescription they try to give everybody. Well, I didn't fit that product. I had very bad repercussions from it. Well, a new product came out called Repulsus. It's on TV all the time. Well, I switched to that product. And I was sick. By the way, it was killing me. The Repulsus was killing me. And I saw this company. I tried it. I went to my pharmacist and said, my doctor gave me a prescription, and the cost was $1,000 a month. So I don't know about you, but I don't pay $1,000 for my car and my house together. So it's more. I want to live good, but I couldn't afford that medicine. But because of the program that Len brought to us, I was able to get a discount. And now recently, the manufacturer, they are offering programs where they literally, if you've got insurance, they will take, and a lot of times the copays. My copay with my insurance was still $250 a month. I got it now. I got 4 months supply yesterday, and that cost me a dime. So we have programs that through the Len Kaine and Tiva and other programs that we have ways to make your life better. How much do you charge to be a part of the Hope Collection or Golden Rule Society? Nothing. Membership is free, and I encourage you to register. Shortly, our website will be more proactive, and we'll be able to do more things to communicate with everybody. But in the meantime, just sign up. It will be helpful and useful, and we expect to be sending some things out in the near future where we'll be able to utilize that more effectively. Does that answer your request? Okay, Country Boy?
Yeah, I sure appreciate that, Ron. And just an extension on what you just said, the discount program that you can get with us for free, my personal assistant, you met her, Diana, she was on 9 prescription meds, and one of those meds called Metamorphin, I didn't know until y'all told me, but she was paying $186 a month for that med and had 20-something side effects. She got switched to the new one that they suggested, and she pays $42 a month. It has 3 side effects. And now that she's been with them a little over a year, she's went from 9 prescription meds to 3. Her levels, I don't know what y'all call them, her levels was well over 13. But the last that she checked, it was like 5.4. That's the lowest that she said it's been in 20 years. So we know that, again. Oh, okay. Now, Ron, thank you. We know, like Linda and I was trying to, I guess the point for the day, if you don't hear nothing else or take nothing else from the show, is you don't have to be the smartest person in the world. You don't have to be able to do everything by yourself. Matter of fact, that was another one. My granddaddy told me, country boy, if you think that you can do everything that the divine creator has told you by yourself, then he didn't tell it to you. Because what he's telling us to do is bigger than you, which means that you're going to need somebody else. And that's why I get so excited about the show every day. I try to come on every day and listen, because I keep saying that certain things we're supposed to hear and certain things you just have to be still and listen to. And then I used to think when I did go to church that the pastor was always talking directly to me. Looked like he was looking at me, and whatever he was talking about out of the word that day just came directly for me. Well, I love it, because when we first started, and Mary, you need to come in and give us another piece, because I felt some days, Ron, like I was talking to myself. And then we kept praying. We had hope. And then all of a sudden, that's one of my favorite words in the Bible, suddenly, Mary Stanley, Speedy Stanley, military woman, mama, therapist, teacher, mentor, computer guru. Mary connected us to over 90 countries and 66-something languages. And I know, Mary, you got some more ammunition to us. We hadn't even been kind enough to let you get in and have 2 cents worth, and you just help us launch the International Kindness Campaign. Mary, are you there?
Yep.
To us, sweetheart.
We are in 95 countries worldwide, because we were 97, but we just got kicked out of China.
Huh?
And we got kicked out of the UAE. We're averaging 200 listeners, and all of our shows are based on what listeners have requested and feedback. So you want to hear some particular show, you want to hear, a particular guest come back and or, contact us, because the show is completely, totally ran on listeners and what they want, which makes my life so much easier, because I don't have to be as creative.
Huh? Now, Mary, we now have other shows besides the 5-day-a-week Optimize Your Life radio show, which we feature, like today's special day of honoring Len Kaine and other hometown heroes. Monday is Hometown Heroes Day, where we interview and talk to people who are heroes, but maybe they don't get exposed in the world like they should be, and we got a platform that we can brag on them and give them connected, that maybe they have something they can help somebody. On Tuesday, we call it Travel Tuesday, and we talk about the wonderful world of travel, how it can change your life. And Rick Reese hosts, myself host that show. On Wednesday, we have a certified nutritionist. Beth Winan is an experienced, qualified person who actually is a consultant in the area of being able to help people realize really not just how you can live healthier through good nutrition. And she works in the world of practical science applications. She also is educated and sufficiently in understanding in the world, and she can discern between, there's a lot of people that they've got the miracle cure. So, in reality, that's not what it is, but she can help clarify and keep people on the right track. She's not prescribing you health. She's just helping you live and have health better. Thursday is Family Day.
And of course, okay, Friday I interrupted you one quick second there, Ron.
Yes.
Beth is not just a nutritionist; she's a certified dietitian.
Thank you. I appreciate your filling me in. I got to tell people that.
Yeah, she's got a big resume.
And she's incredible. She's a person with a conscience, and she's a person that cares, and she can help people that really are struggling. And she's done it. And she's helped my wife and I, and we appreciate her efforts. By the way, I think I'm not sure I can make this announcement. I'm going to try to. There's going to be a big health expo sponsored by our local radio station WUFO in Buffalo, New York, and in October. And we're going to have a booth at that expo, and we've invited and Beth at this point is just working out the details, but Beth may be there, and there are going to be some workshops. And so she'll be there, and you can ask your questions in person, and we'll be doing some special stuff at the show. There's a tremendous amount of rewards for people that come to the show, and we're working on. There might even an extension of that we may be doing this program in Atlanta, Georgia. Now you talk about maybe going big. Buffalo to Atlanta is a big jump, but we're looking forward to making that happen. And Beth would be an important part of that program. So, guys, we're just proud because we've aligned a group of people that, as our goal says, making this a better world.
The apple meets the peach. One more thing. This morning, right before I got on the show, I was on the line with a dear friend of mine, State Senator Carol Jackson. I live at her horse ranch sometimes because I love horses, and she trains horses there. But we help make White County, that's the county I live in, accessible for what most people call handicap, and we started calling everybody handy-capable. So we made the county and 3 other surrounding counties now handy-capable with ramps and all the other accessories that people that have special needs. Mary, you got to give us another piece now because Mary's now. Those things, I have never called anybody in my life stupid, but I looked it up in Webster Dictionary, and the definition of stupidity is to do the same thing over and over and over again, and it's not working, and you continue to do it that way anyway. I'm not picking on the school systems. I'm just saying that certain things that they're teaching and the way that they're teaching it is not working. Mary, tell us what we're doing, sweetie, what you're doing and what your daughter and what some of us other spiritually conscious people are doing to change some of the things that's going on in the school system when it comes to handicap abilities.
Okay, first of all, you got to narrow down what I'm doing just a little bit because I do a million different things. But in the form of education is what I am actually partnering with an organization called Conscious Mastery Academy, and we are going to be creating the first certifiable program that will include NLP, timeline therapy, hypnotherapy, among other modalities, including key and touch therapies, to help work with special needs children and how to understand the mind-body connection, anchoring them, helping them, but seeing them as an individual, allowing the personalities to come through and focusing on their strengths and using their strengths to help overcome the weaknesses. Because the biggest misconception when it comes to autism is it's a disease that needs to be cured. You can't cure it because there's nothing wrong with you. It is a wiring issue in your brain that's messed up. But the other big misconception is that you are stuck that way for life. And autism is the only mental health disorder where you actually have to go in every couple of years and get retested, reassessed. And as you get reassessed, your scale will vary from extreme to none at all to middle. It just depends on what's going on. There have been, and I'm living it with my own children, where they have tested extreme on the scale, but due to new holistic individual techniques that do not include traditional therapies that have been banned in the U.S. or in the world, but still used in the U.S., where these children, by the time they reach adulthood, will actually have overcome that label and not even be tested on that scale. In theoretically, basically, they won't be considered autistic anymore.
It's an incredible achievement. It's an incredible step forward in our world. You know, there was a time when we didn't have a cure for polio. We do now. There is now a time coming where we have things that you are developing with the professionals that you work with in companies and organizations that we're going to be able to make a real difference in so many lives and enrich so many lives. And it isn't just the patient and just the child, it's the parents too, and everybody around us in their sphere. So now we can actually say and go to sleep at night knowing you're making a difference, and we're so grateful.
Hey, you guys are a big help too, though. It's not just me; it's the community. And you know, like a good example, Ron. You know, when I first met you and you talked to the kids, you've seen the kids on video. You know, look at how they've adjusted and grown and overcome to the point that nobody knew that they were special when we threw them into an area that they've never been, never seen, never dealt with ever before.
Well, they drove 14 hours to get to Buffalo, New York. Well, country by, let me finish. They came to Buffalo, New York. They were part of a presentation at a 1,000-person speech that was done at a naval park. They slept on a ship at the naval park. They performed. They did the Pledge of Allegiance in front of those thousands of people. They turned around and they came over to our house, where normally when kids they like to do stuff. Well, they need a swing set, or they need a pool, they need stuff. We had none of that. More 30 kids came to our house and played a whole afternoon. We had a picnic, hamburgers, hot dogs, all 9 yards. They never once, not one of them, including Ariana and David, had any kind of, there were no broken bones, there were no fights, there was no issue. The kids got along. Parents didn't, but the kids got along. Why? Because they were in an environment, and the thing is, if they're in an environment where they feel safe, they can just flourish. And Mary, you are an expert at helping people create that environment of love and care.
I love it. Mary.
Now, the other big thing that I teach families to understand is that all children, special or not, are monsters. They are unfiltered little turkeys. It doesn't matter if they're filtered or not. Kids do things to embarrass their parents, either what they do or what they say. It is not exclusively to special needs. This is their time to learn. And, you know, how many times as a kid were you told what goes on in our house does not be said in public?
Sure.
Because kids are unfiltered. So we need to stop looking at them like they're broken and look at them like they're children. And because they do things, all kids do it.
Boy, is
Mary, I was reading. It says we're going to use the children to confound the wise. They do have different brain function. But I was reading Einstein says the mind is the most powerful force in the universe. And we've been blocking them for so many years. Then that's why I say that we're super friends. Joel told me it was okay to say that. We're super friendly. We're super kind, but we work together to help bless humankind. By doing this, we allow, my grandmama used to always say, baby, well, it doesn't matter where you go, Mary. It doesn't matter where you go, Ron and Linda. It doesn't matter where you go, Oak Man. You let your little light shine. And when you let your little light shine, it unconsciously, did y'all hear that word? Unconsciously allows other people to do the same. When I said we're one nation under love and we keep practicing. Yes, ma'am?
These kids do not have different brain functions. They just think differently. They do things differently. Their brain function is the same as everybody else. They're like anyone else.
I understand that, but looking from a perspective that God told me to remind everybody that he designed all of us in his own image. There's only one you. There's only one me. There's only one. But many are called and few are chosen. We're the chosen ones. It's going to allow us to be able to do extraordinary things on ordinary days. We're partnering up. That's what, Ron, I'm glad you pointed it out, that Mary, you bought a group of children, and what you're doing with the children and what we're doing with our home with the children. We owe it to them, you guys, to be able to come together and love on each other. It's, again, I'm going to say it one more time and then I'm going to hush. If everybody could bless themselves, we wouldn't need each other. It truly is a blessing to be a blessing. And when Shakespeare said to be or not to be, it's not a riddle, to be or not to be. It's a life choice. And we're choosing to stand up and do the things that we know are right. We're going to do it and do it and do it. We're going to practice loving on each other. Practice doesn't mean you get perfect. Practice means you only get better and better and better at whatever it is that you do, but we're going to do unto others before they do unto you. Because when you give love, hope, and kindness away, eventually it will come back to you, even if it does not come from the person that you originally gave it to. Back to you, Mary.
You know, the only thing I want to say before we end the show is, as a humanity, we need to stop looking at these children like they're different, because they're not. They are like every other person out there. They're not. They don't do things differently. They just are more in touch with their bodies. They are just like any other kid. And until we can see that as a person, and that's the one thing, you know, Ron and Linda, I want to thank you guys so much about, is that you have never, ever treated them, talked to them, or looked at them any different than any other kid. And that is the first step that we need to do to make a change.
We never, that's just how we are. That's how we are, who we are. We don't treat anybody. We treat everybody the same, good. It's not just being neutral, it's being positive, good, and recognize what's good in people and children. And when you do that, you have higher levels of expectation. But then you put expectations on yourself. And in doing that, then you are able to be more flexible, not rigid. And I find too many people are just rigid. They draw a line. And that makes things very difficult. So thank you, everyone, for joining the show today. I hope you have a great weekend. God bless you. We'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye now. Thanks.